Hey, y'all, and welcome to Voices Beyond the Pages, the podcast where stories and voices meet. I'm your host, Audrey Shanice, an audiobook narrator who got her start on TikTok, sharing my journey with all its highs, lows, and everything in between. Each episode, we celebrate the voices shaping the storytelling world, BIPOC narrators, indie authors, and the readers who love them. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or just feel seen, you're in the right place. Grab a drink and get comfy. You're going to love it here. Today's episode is one of those conversations that's been on my heart for a minute. If you've ever been told that listening to an audiobook doesn't count, or felt dismissed because you engage with stories differently, this one's for you. We're discussing access, ableism, and why audiobooks are more than just an alternative. Because everyone deserves a seat at the storytelling table. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Voices Beyond the Pages. I'm your host, Audrey Shanice, and today's episode is personal, necessary, and long overdue. You ever hear someone say, listening to audiobooks isn't really reading? Yeah, that one. Let's talk about it, because that statement, whether folks realize it or not, is rooted in ableism. I want to take a moment to honor and uplift the people who rely on audiobooks to access literature, especially folks who are blind, visually impaired, neurodivergent, or living with learning disabilities. And let's be real, this hits different when you're part of the BIPOC community and facing compounded barriers. This episode is for them, and for anyone who's ever felt overlooked because the way they read doesn't match someone else's expectations. So, grab a drink, settle in, and let's get into it. You're gonna love it here. Let's start with the myth. The one you hear way too often. Listening doesn't count as reading. Here's the truth. Reading is about absorbing, understanding, and engaging with the story. And whether that's through your eyes or your ears, it still counts. When someone listens to an audiobook, they're following a plot, tracking characters, experiencing emotion, tone, nuance, everything someone would take in by reading it on the page. Sometimes even more, because a powerful narration can bring a book to life in ways a silent page never could. As a narrator, I can tell you firsthand, we don't just read books out loud. We perform them. Every beat, every breath, every pause is intentional. So, when someone listens to an audiobook, they're experiencing a story in a way that's valid, meaningful, and let's be honest, sometimes more immersive than reading visually. Let's talk about access. Over 7 million Americans live with a visual impairment. About 1 in 5 people have learning differences like dyslexia. Then there's ADHD, cognitive processing disorders, and physical disabilities that make holding a book or focusing on text difficult. For many of these people, audiobooks aren't a luxury, they're a lifeline. Now, imagine navigating that world as a Black or brown person. Add systemic barriers in education, healthcare, and economic access, then try finding books that reflect your lived experience, your voice, your community. That's why audiobook access isn't about convenience, it's about equity. And the more we normalize books as valid and necessary forms of reading, the more we create space for marginalized readers to thrive. I say this all the time. Representation behind the mic matters just as much as representation on the page. When a listener hears a voice that sounds like theirs, or their mama's, or their best friend's, that's a connection that can't be faked. Narrators help people fall in love with books. I know they helped me. We build bridges between stories and the people who need them most. For someone relying on audio to connect with literature for the first time, how we tell the story matters. We are not just performers. We're guides, we're companions, and sometimes we are the reason someone experiences a book they may not have otherwise had access to. If you're an author, publisher, or book lover listening, here's what you can do. Make your books available in audio format, especially if you're an indie author. Hire diverse narrators who reflect the voices in your stories. Support organizations like Learning Ally, Bookshare, and the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled. Take the time to shine a light on disabled BIPOC creators and advocates in this space. And most importantly, check yourself when those outdated beliefs about real reading sneak up. Reading is reading, period. So, if you've ever relied on an audiobook to carry you through a chapter, whether that's because of a disability, a long commute, or just needing a different way to connect, know this: you are a reader, a real one. To my fellow narrators, authors, and creatives, we're not just building careers, we're building bridges. Access is power. This is Voices Beyond the Pages, where stories and voices meet. You're going to love it here.